What is up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Profiles presented by Powergrip USA. This is a new series that I'm starting that is going to highlight a tried and true classic, maybe a disc that all the pros over the last 10, maybe even 20 years have thrown, relied on, told you that they love this disc for many reasons, but the reality is maybe you can't quite relate to how they throw. So I wanted to make a good solid piece of content overviewing these discs and kind of just give you the reasons why I think these discs have been trusted to win world championships or win disc golf pro tour events or just stay in a pro's bag for so long, and maybe how they kind of translate to a more amateur or lower level pro or whatever you want to call it, skill level slash bag. In the first episode today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the Innova Teebird. Now, the Innova Teebird, if you've been around for a while, if you've played this sport since, let's say, maybe before the COVID boom, you probably know the Teebird. It is one of the most classic 7-speed control drivers ever made. But if you're a post-COVID, we'll call it like maybe like a discraft, like a Paul Macbeth fanboy disc golfer, maybe you've never really thrown a T-Bird, because since about 2020, I feel like this disc has taken a back seat to so many new releases. And although the new releases are hype and they're fun, and a lot of them are great, I do think there's still a place out there for content that just breaks down the simplicity and the consistency of a disc like the T-Bird. Today we have a bunch of these. Actually, I got a nice little stack of T-Birds here. We got the brand new Jen Allen T-Birds that are a stable, like pretty overstable run, honestly. We got the new Vinyl Makala Swirled Star T-Bird from a little bit earlier in the year, which is a very straight to, I'd maybe even call it like understable T-Bird. And then we have a nice little lineup of kind of some classics. We got a little penned glow T-Bird. These tend to be nice, like firm, stable ones. We got just a classic champion fly die, eye die. Honestly, haven't thrown this one, so I'm not quite sure. We got an old school star here. This one's got a 2008 stamp, Paul Macbeth, so kind of an old school classic. And then we got another penned Starry Pro T-Bird here. Super sick stamp, but this is going to give you guys a good little read on maybe some classic older T-Birds and then some newer T-Birds. And I think Innova has actually been doing a really good job lately of putting out some good runs of T-Bird. I'll be the first to say it. I love old Innova. I think they had a period of time where I don't want to say their plastic wasn't the best or was bad, but I didn't love the feel of it. And now the stuff they've currently been putting out over maybe the last year or two again, I've really been a fan of. So enough yapping. Let's get into it.
There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport.
So we're out here at the driving range today. The second basket that you can see out there in the field is 300 feet away from us. What I want to demonstrate to you guys today is pretty much the neutrality of the T-Bird. You can hit them on a hyzer, they're going to hyzer. You can hit them flat, they're going to go flat. And depending on the one you get, you might get a little hyzer, you might get a little turn, it might go dead straight. And then they're also great for just that Annie that kind of pans out to flat. One of the things I think people love T-Birds the most for, and especially kind of back in the day, was cycling T-Birds. If you look at old school in the bags, you'll see players like Ken Climo. He'll have, maybe 4, even 5 Paul Macbeth T-Birds in the bag, cycled through various stabilities. And that's kind of an art form, we'll call it, that I feel like is a little lost in today's game, where people kind of just maybe pick more of just different slots of discs and there's less cycling through the same mold for different stabilities. But gonna go ahead and throw these all on hyzer, then throw them all flat, then throw them all on a little bit of Annie, and then we'll talk through the process. A little deep of the basket, little 300 footer. T-Bird numbers 7502. Very nice neutral stability disc. Drop, go in. No, that's not even, guys, I'm 100 feet deep. So I would say for a player with my backhand, I'm typically, we'll call it 60 miles an hour plus or minus 5 miles an hour, depending on the throw. Kind of like a 55 to 65 thrower. anywhere between 1350 speed and like 1450 to, I'll touch 1500 spin on like a smash, but like none of these throws are gonna be up there. That's kind of my tech disc stats if you want to relate that to yourself. So these Vino Teebirds should flip up and fly a little bit more. Oh yeah. That's such a good that's so good. Also, I'm kind of sad because this is my first day out here at this driving range, which is sick. But I just almost hit the back wall with a Teebird, and that pretty much means I don't think I'm going to be able to review distance drivers out here, which can't win them all. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to throw all these shots on the same angle to hyzer to that second basket. But then obviously depending on the stability of them, we're gonna see, you know, the Jen Allens held that hyzer, the Vino flipped up to dead straight, but I'm trying to release them all on what should be a hyzer to the basket and then see how they react. Little pro, Starry Pro Teebird. If you're newer to the game, Starry Pro is like specific, usually older runs of pro plastic from Innova, but that is really like a high quality pro. It feels more like a star. Unfortunately, they're hard to come by, but when you can find them, they're some of the best feeling discs. Go in. Oh, this is so fun. I love this driving range. All right, nice classic little star T-Bird. This one has a good bit of dome to it, so I bet it's gonna go far. Okay guys, that was my first bad throw of the day. Not gonna be perfect every time. This one, Clint gave me, and it's an absolute beauty. Super, I mean, just look at that. Yet to throw it though. Man, I forgot how just sturdy a T-Bird is. If I could have one word to describe a T-Bird, it would just be sturdy. You know, they're not beefy, they're not flippy, they're just sturdy, you know, and they fly really nice. I've actually been kind of messing around with a lot of 7-speeds lately. You guys know I threw the Eagles a ton, and I love the Eagle, but something lately, I haven't gelled with them. I don't know, I felt like, I don't know, I just wasn't like feeling them. So I've been really cycling through some 7-speeds, been trying the FD1, the Birdie Weapon, the T-Bird, the new Sagara, pair it up with a Cicada. You know, you kind of have all these options. And I was super excited to kind of revisit the stack of T-Birds that I just happen to have. And today might make me rethink my lineup. And when you got like, what do I have, like 7 T-Birds here? I got options. I personally don't believe there's really anything like crazy special about it. Like it's not going to do anything insane, but the T-Bird is kind of that go-to mid-range, but in 7-speed form. You know, you beat them up and they fly amazing. New, they're nice, straight, stable. They're just so sturdy. They're so reliable. They're just a disc that you can trust, and I think that's really why the pros have trusted them over the years, and why so many players have trusted the T-Bird over the years. I used to bag the T-Bird before the Eagle, but then I moved to Eagles because they're usually a little flatter and a little bit better on my forehand. But you cannot deny that a T-Bird is just a phenomenal disc. We're gonna go pick these up because obviously any disc can kind of throw like a hyzer, and we're gonna show you some flatter, maybe turn lines, you know, some little more like full flight type of stuff. So obviously you guys heard me say that this series is presented by Powergrip USA. And the reason you're seeing this video today is because on the first of every month, Powergrip actually offers free shipping. Combine that with my code Broderick10, saves you 10%, directly supports me, you get free shipping. It's basically like going into your local disc golf shop and picking a disc, which is pretty cool. So if you are like, man, I've never tried a T-Bird, looks pretty good, go pick one up. If you're like, man, I haven't thrown a T-Bird in a while, I remember them being great, but I don't throw it anymore, and you want a new one, maybe go try one. The new Jen Allens are available, the Vinos are still available, as well as a plethora of stock T-Birds. Now, one of the best things is Powergrip just launched a new website, and throughout this year, they're working on bringing pictures/profiles like measurements of all the discs. So you're gonna have a great selection of discs. This is the first episode, so I'll be honest, I'm not totally sure if all the Teebirds have pictures, if even any. I'm sorry. But going forward, every month on the 1st, you can expect a video like this, as well as a good stock of whatever disc I'm talking about, as well as pictures of all that disc. So it's just like going into your local shop, picking up a Frisbee, but it supports me, and you get a new disc. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this one. Jaden just threw it. Let's go, come on! So Jaden's with us here now. He whipped a disc at me.
Hello, clubbers.
But how long have you been playing?
I first ever played when I was like 9 or 10, but
So
I
like,
was
kind of like the same amount of time as
but
me.
I took it like way more casually than you for like several years in between. Like it wasn't until probably the last 5 or 6 years that I've actually tried to like get good.
Yeah.
Before that, it was more screwing around. But like I've been around and been familiar with the game since I was a kid. So
So pre-COVID golfer, what do you throw for your fairways right now?
right now, I've got the Crave and the Vela that are kind of in that slot.
You know what? We're pivoting. I'm gonna have you throw some shots. The Jen Allen Teebirds, new release, pretty stable Teebird. So like you could probably even throw them on a little Annie, as long as they have height. Like you're gonna get like a fade back at the end.
For consistency's sake, I'm going to try to throw them all relatively flat. My natural release is a slight hyzer, but
Yeah.
less than yours is.
Yeah.
And that way we can kind of compare and see what they actually do.
So that one's beefy. Luckily we got 2 of those, so I want to see you crank that one on an Annie. So Jaden, I would say, is gonna throw a Teebird like, I'll say like 50 feet, give or take, less than me probably. Like I could crank these up to like the mid to high 3s. You're probably like low to mid 3s. Dude, those things are beef.
Yeah, that one's got some serious stability.
Yeah. This one's gonna be the flippiest one. So honestly, just try and smack it and get it to turn over or something. Oh yeah. Still got that Teebird finish though.
Yeah, dependable.
Yep. Pretty much I just think the Teebird is like, it's just, I was saying earlier, it's the most sturdy disc. Like whatever you do, it's just sturdy. It's gonna go straight.
One thing I think a lot of people need to look at a T-Bird as, or like a Thunderbird I use as the same kind of slot, is like a mini destroyer. Like it's gonna have the same like flight as a destroyer, and for most people it's gonna go almost as far if you're throwing well. Like most people don't have the arm speed to actually get a destroyer to do its full flight.
All right, Jaden, you said you were gonna throw these flat and they're all coming out on hyzer. We're gonna need some turnovers from you.
All right.
That's a beauty. I hope I'm not standing like right in the line of like where the discs are flying. Hit this one on a big ol' Annie flexor.
Oh, way too much Annie.
She gone. Please don't be though, because that thing's so sick.
Still fades out though.
You were aiming for that basket down there?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Nice.
going for.
Good shot. Let me know if you think when I do these videos, if I should always bring someone else. Like, doesn't matter like what their skill level is, but you'll just have 2 people that throw different, throwing the discs.
The reality is, I know the vast majority of you clubbers do not throw as far as Broad. I'm definitely more in your realm, so yeah, like I'm gonna give you a much better idea of what it actually does compared to Broad. Broad does some insane things, throwing Firebirds 400 feet. I can't do that.
The funny thing is I can throw Firebirds 400, but I only throw Destroyers like 401, so I don't know what's wrong. Anyways.
That's what the advice I gave earlier was.
Let me know what disc you want to see next in this series. Obviously, you guys know I also have the retro review series, which is going to be a little different than this because that's kind of more of those like those molds that are not like the pro, like not tried and true. Like nobody really throws them, and maybe for good reason, but they're old school, cool discs. This is going to be more of like the classic discs that everyone knows and loves, but maybe there's not like a solid piece of content on them because they're just so obvious. Jen Allen's first. Should be nice and stable. Yeah, that's actually just a beautiful line. All right, this blue one is kind of the domiest one. So I'm actually gonna hit it on a fan grip because domey fairways with the fan grip like feel good. We're gonna hit it nice and flat. Oh, that's good. Wow. This is making me rethink why I don't throw these. Go in. No, it dropped. This is my power grip. This is my fan grip. Basically, the difference for me is that the power grip is gonna be a little faster. I'm gonna get a little more speed. The spin is honestly about the same, but I'm kind of in this period right now where I'm trying to trust the fan grip on drivers a little bit more. I throw probably 80% of my mids and putters fan, but trying to move that up into the fairways too. So a little bit of practice for me here. I love when I actually throw discs flat. They fly so nice. Like the hyzer push is great, but sometimes the flat actually just pushes. I'm gonna try and hit this one hyzer flip to get it to late turn, test the stability. Will it get over? No, but that might be like one of my favorite flights out of all of these. It's one more flex line with the glow one. I feel like this one is really similar to the Jen Allens. Teebirds are kind of good. Well guys, that is gonna do it for episode number 1 of the Profiles. I hope you enjoyed. This video is supposed to be me trying